Welcome everyone. In today's video, I wanted to talk about some of the most important crypto events that are happening right now and that are likely to happen in the month of November. And when I say important, it's likely that the market is going to move based on the outcome of these events, whether it be positive or negative. And as per usual, you can follow me on Twitter just to keep updated with what I'm doing. And I occasionally tweet out some important news that is coming out as well. So let's get right into the events. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the NFT Marketplace Battle that is currently going on. Now this is between Blur, OpenSea, X2, Y2 and LooksRare. The market is really heating up, and the first thing I wanted to talk about is Blur. Blur is a new marketplace / aggregator that aims to disrupt the scene with better tools, faster data, and 0% marketplace fees. So it raised $40 million from heavy hitters such as Paradigm, Cosmo Medici, which is Snoop Dogg's NFT alt, and Punk 6529, who's pretty big in the NFT space as well. And so Blur has really dominated in terms of sales volume. So as you can see here, we've had massive sale counts, as well as just looking at the total ETH volume that has gone through Blur versus some of the other NFT marketplaces. We can see that Blur has taken over OpenSea, X2, Y2, LooksRare, and SudoSwap. So it's really doing well right now. Now Blur is interesting because it's not only a marketplace where people can buy and sell their NFTs on Blur itself, it's also an aggregator. So if you're looking to bulk buy the floor for say Miladies or Bored Apes, you can do that through Blur. See here as well, one important thing that's happening in the space is a big discussion over creator royalties and how they should be enforced and if people should be paying them or not. OpenSea obviously still enforces them, but the other marketplaces that we see here, we can see that the effective royalties across their exchanges are very low. With these other NFT marketplaces, people can choose whether or not they want to pay the royalty, and I can understand this, right? If it's a 10k profile pic collection and the collection's been dead for a while and no one's really doing anything there, it doesn't really make too much sense to give any royalties to the NFT owners, right? If we're being honest there. But there are some out there which are providing a ton of value, such as, Bored Ape and Azuki's. But Blur has been on a bit of a tear recently. As we can see, it's garnered some attention from some of the other NFT marketplaces. As we can see here, X2Y2 has struck out against Blur, and they posted this on their Twitter. "Hi Blur, we would like for you to stop using our listings on your website. You've been blocked from X2Y2 for violating our terms by applying for 10 plus keys to access their API." Now I think this isn't something that they would have gone out and actually done if they didn't see Blur as some sort of a threat. And another reason for why Blur is getting so much volume right now in terms of total ETH volume and sales volume is that they are actively advertising that they are going to be doing an airdrop, and this will be based on usage of the platform. And so a ton of NFT buying and selling activity has been sucked away from these other marketplaces and is going to Blur. So they believe that marketplaces and aggregators serve very different purposes and should be separated. Aggregators aggregate listings from different markets, but when a marketplace has its own aggregator, it creates a conflict of interest. Now this is interesting because LooksRare came out and announced their own NFT aggregator as well. So LooksRare is also a marketplace. It's going to have its own aggregator. As we can see here, the initial implementation of the aggregator will allow for bulk buys on LooksRare, along with the added convenience of being able to buy and bulk buy NFTs from OpenSea direct from LooksRare's website. Now, I think from a user experience, this just benefits everyone because historically NFT trading has been quite difficult, especially creator fees and then also bulk buying things. I remember last year posts coming out about how people would have to privately go to MEV people to actually make sure that they could sweep the floor properly without getting sniped before other bots. And now we have aggregators coming out that make it easier. LooksRare also posted that 95% of trading rewards now go to NFT sellers, so that means 0 fees. So what happens is that if you're looking to sell an NFT on LooksRare, you pay a 2% flat fee, and then you receive that flat fee back in Looks tokens as a rebate the next day. And so LooksRare has joined the battle as well. And then OpenSea have launched their own tool. And this tool allows for enforcement of creator fees for new collections. As I said before, there's been a big debate around this. And so this tool is their first version of on-chain enforcement, and in the coming months they'll launch additional tools and improvements for on-chain enforcements of new collections. So this only applies to NFT collections that are minted with the OpenSea tool, but it's just interesting to see what's happening in this NFT space right now. I think Immutable X a week ago announced that they would be enforcing creator royalties on the Immutable X platform, and then the token subsequently pumped. And so I think for right now, it makes sense to have all of these NFT marketplaces as a Twitter follow and then put them on notifications. Looks Rare and X2, Y2 both have tokens. And so we're going to see announcements that come out over the coming weeks and months that is really going to affect the token prices. Now, the next piece of news I wanted to talk about is the zkSync launch. So if you're not familiar with zkSync, zkSync is a zero knowledge rollup for Ethereum. So if you're familiar with like say Arbitrum and Optimism, those are optimistic rollups that offer DeFi, NFTs, gaming that are faster and cheaper than Ethereum mainnet, but however you're still getting the security that Ethereum mainnet provides. Now zkSync is doing something similar, but they're using ZK rollups in order to do so, and theoretically this should be faster and cheaper than the optimistic rollups. And they launched their zkSync 2.0 on mainnet in their baby alpha. So what that means is that they're giving developers early access to zkSync so they can play around with it, look at the tooling, learn how to actually port their dApps over to zkSync. So you're not actually able to properly use zkSync 2.0 right now, and you will be able to do that soon. But the baby alpha is here, and a bunch of projects have committed to actually building on zkSync. I think we might be able to start using it towards the end of the year, perhaps late November, December. We'll see about that. But I know Uniswap, Aave, MakerDAO, a bunch of other projects are committing to actually start building on zkSync, so we can look forward to that pretty soon. Now, the next news item I wanted to talk about is link staking. So I actually talked about this in my September Crypto Catalyst video. Mentioned a little bit more about, why link staking is important, so on and so forth. So they had a conference, that the Chainlink SmartCon, that ended up happening on the later half of September, I think like the 28th or something like that, and they announced Chainlink staking there. And now we've had a further confirmation of Chainlink staking, and they posted on their website that the initial beta version of Chainlink staking is planned to launch on Ethereum mainnet in December 2022. They are gating this for now, and you can see who is actually eligible for this. So if you're a Chainlink holder, you're able to access Chainlink staking if you held more than 7 Link on Ethereum mainnet for at least 50% of the time between May 30th, 2019 and June 7th, 2022. And if you held more than 7 Link on Ethereum mainnet for at least 90% of the time between August 5th, 2021 and June 7th, 2022. Also, if you're a builder or an educator, you've been granted access to this as well. And so those eligible for early access will get priority entrance to the version 0.1 staking pool, granting the opportunity to directly stake up to 7,000 Link in a first come first served manner until the pool cap is reached. And so if you are interested in this and you are eligible, definitely put Chainlink on notifications, and you want to get there as fast as possible. I know there are going to be a ton of Chainlink whales out there, as well as various other like institutions out there looking to be Link stakers, and so that will probably fill up fast. Now, the next piece of news I wanted to talk about is the Thorchain Savers Vault launch. So if you're not familiar with Thorchain, it's a cross-chain DEX AMM. So you're able to trade native BTC for native ETH, or native Litecoin for native Dogecoin, all through Thorchain, and you're able to do this in a decentralized fashion. So Thorchain node operators have voted to switch on Savers Vault, and how this works is that you're able to deposit X asset, and then you can earn X asset in return with no impermanent loss and no exposure to secondary assets, all whilst maintaining custody of those funds. So if you can think about it this way, say there's a Bitcoin Ethereum pool, you can deposit Bitcoin there, and you're effectively providing liquidity in that pool, but you only have exposure to Bitcoin, and the fees that you earn from providing liquidity in that pool are returned to you in Bitcoin as well. And you won't have any impermanent loss exposure. Now this is bullish for Thorchain because as we see more and more like Bitcoin deposits into Thorchain pools, it means that the pool depth increases, the transaction volume then increases as well, and the slippage per trade decreases. And that increases the amount of people who actually want to trade there, because there's less slippage, that means there's more reason to trade and there's more arbitrage opportunity as well. And that increases the returns to LPs. And then users must buy Rune to become liquidity providers. That's part of like Thorchain stick, and then the pool depth increases, and so this is sort of a virtuous cycle. Thorchain has pumped for the past week. I don't know if this will sustain, but we'll see eventually when these Savers Vaults go live and people are actually able to deposit BTC. I think Thorchain BTC deposits should start spiking. Now the next piece of news I wanted to talk about is Token 2049. So this is one of the big crypto events out there. So they're having their London event coming up fairly soon. We might see an announcement from one of the big projects there, so definitely keep an eye out on that. Let's talk about the FIFA World Cup. You might be thinking, why am I mentioning this? Well, there are a couple projects that are actually tied to the FIFA World Cup. And the first one I wanted to talk about is Chiliz. So Chiliz allows users to participate in the lives of their favorite sports teams in exchange for additional revenue streams for the companies behind them. And they've teamed up with a bunch of different football teams out there in order to launch their own tokens. So you have teams like the Argentine Football Association fan token, Levante UD fan token, Portugal national team fan token, and with the FIFA World Cup, coming up soon, I believe it starts on November 20th. Additionally, Algorand has partnered up with FIFA to become its official blockchain partner. So they're launching an NFT set with FIFA, and in fact it's already out, so you can already start trading it. But with the FIFA World Cup coming up, there's going to be a lot more interest in these NFTs, and so you can buy FIFA World Cup and FIFA Women's World Cup moments and history in the form of unique digital collectibles like art and imagery. So if you're familiar with NBA Top Shot and the pump that it had in late 2020 and early 2021, it's possible that these FIFA NFTs could see something similar. And the last piece of news comes today from Gains Network. So if you're not familiar with Gains Network, it is a Polygon-based perpetual futures DEX, and it's set to launch on Arbitrum within the next 2 weeks. And it's the only perpetual futures DEX that offers crypto, forex, and stock trading. And if it launches successfully and gains a lot of traction, there is a good chance it sees a similar run-up that GMX had if Arbitrum season actually ends up taking off. And that's all the news that we have for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.